Hey everybody, this is Roland with Phantom Lords Paintball. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my TPX or Tippmann TIPX pistol, which I will be referring to throughout the videos. The TPX is just easier. I did a sort of review and initial impressions video about this previously, and since then I've had a lot of time to use the pistol. A lot of that is just because it's such a, really such a pleasure to use. I gotta say, you'll notice that I have a Tiberius box here, and the reason for that is that I traded my old 8.1, which I had for about a year and used sporadically for the TPX. I wanted to try the TPX, and that was an easy way to give it a shot without having to shell out more cash. But we wound up each keeping our respective boxes. But the TPX, I've really enjoyed using, and it's made me really want to play pistol more and more, which has been great in itself because I'm saving a lot of money on paint. And honestly, I just find it really fun to play pistol. I get far fewer eliminations with it. I'm not one of those amazing pistol players that can go out with a mag of, with 7 rounds and get 4 people and take 8 shots in a game, and in those 8 shots get 5 people out. I tend to actually go through a decent amount of paint, I guess you would say, for a pistol player, which is actually part of the reason that I really love using this marker. A lot of it has to do more with the overall setup and how you can carry paint than the marker itself. Between the 8.1 and the TPX, there are differences, but it's really, a lot of it for me is neck and neck. I didn't have a problem with the oversized grip on the 8.1. It is kind of nice to grab a mag and know that there's air in it, and know as you're going through mags you're not going to have to change air. That being said, with the TPX, the CO2 change is really easy, and actually I find it oddly satisfying to know that I'm getting shot at by people with electros and semi-autos and everything, and I'm not having a problem in changing mags and changing out CO2s and everything. It's a really satisfying way to play, and it becomes very, sort of unconscious while you're using the marker, which is, definitely something I can say is to the TPX's credit. I don't really have to think about this stuff that much. Using it is very easy. Changing the CO2 is very easy. Changing the mags is very easy. Both markers shoot really well. They shoot when you pull the trigger. The Tiberius, I did kind of like it for its more solid feel, but I think that it's, the TPX gets a bad rap for being plastic or composite and having the plastic mags. I really don't see it as being that much of an issue. The mags themselves are pretty solid. The marker is pretty solid. Everything that's important within here is metal. It's a generally solid marker, and I think it's kind of overrated, or not really fair, a lot of the bad rap that it gets for being plastic. But as far as disassembly, the markers are so close. They both have annoying little quirks. The TPX, everything in here is under tension, so you do have to take a little care when you're taking it apart to make sure stuff doesn't fly out, and as well when you're putting it back. I do plan on doing a maintenance video on the TPX. I probably only take it apart and clean it every 2 to 3 times I use it. Although definitely if you do get shot in the marker, especially around here, you're pretty much going to have to clean it because paint is going to get down under the front block. But they both have their quirks. The TPX also, probably more than anything, I think I've almost lost this little plastic piece in the window every time I've cleaned this. But the Tiberius also has, a little bit of quirky stuff in terms of it having the trigger, the spring behind the trigger that you have to wiggle through the frame, and there's a linkage on the back, and there are tricks to being able to do that more easily, but that's always something that, you know, towards the end of putting it back together could be a little frustrating. That being said, I don't think either one is difficult at all to take apart. They really aren't. They're very simple. So the markers, you know, I think it's kind of neck and neck. If you wind up getting one of them, I don't think you're really going to have a problem with either one. Obviously, the 8.1 comes already set up for first strikes. The TPX, I guess some people are just taking a Dremel to the breech block and reshaping it themselves and then shaping their mags. And that seems to be working. There's also, I believe there's at least one aftermarket option where you can buy a new breech block, and I think it's $50 or $60, and then either mod your own mags, which should, you know, technically be easier than doing the breech block, or you can purchase mags from the same company, but they are twice as expensive as normal TPX mags. The normal TPX mag, you can get 2 for $20, which is also another amazing thing about these. You know, or actually, I believe it's 2 for $30. That might be my mistake. I haven't actually bought any because I got this marker with 11 of them, whereas the Tiberius mags are 1 for $30. You know, that's a big thing. But like I said, both markers work great. They both can work for first strikes, seemingly without any problem either way. The 8.1 comes already set up, so if you know you're going to be using first strikes, probably easier just to go that way. But marker to marker, it's personal preference in terms of the marker itself. The mags are a totally different story. Here I have my current rig, which has 8 mags on front. And then I have the one that's in my marker, dump pouch on the left side. And then I have, now I used to have a holster here, and I found that actually I was going through a bunch of these more than often enough to warrant keeping extra paint. I used to keep a couple of 10-round tubes in here, or you know, 7-round tubes cut down in here that I could refill like maybe 3 of these between games, but I really wanted the ability to be able to refill all of them for those times that we're doing, you know, attack and defend or castle stuff, and just to not worry about it. And the overall setup is so light that even with adding a 50-round pod holder over here, everything's just really light. I mean, with my 8.1, I ran with 5 mags, and it was noticeably like I can't overstate the difference in weight. And that really is kind of the beginning and the end of it for me, in terms of deciding between these 2 markers. It's just so much easier to carry paint with the TPX. I have my CO2s here. But yeah, I mean, in general, the ease of carrying paint. Another thing in terms of with the rig itself, I mean, I actually make all my own rigs and stuff, and the TPX mag is a regular shape. The 8.1 mag, because again it has the air, there's, you know, a whole difference, and there's a big collar here, and the mags themselves are bulkier. It was way easier to fit more mags on here. It was way easier to make the actual rig, and all of that really factors into the consideration between both of them. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty much just what I wanted to talk about with these 2. If you're, you know, using normal paint, you want to carry a lot of paint, and weight is a concern, I really, you know, in my opinion, it's kind of, you know, not really a choice. I mean, the TPX is the way to go. You know, that's just my personal opinion, but like I said, I'm completely converted to this marker, and it is the reason that I'm playing a lot more pistol now than I used to. So, you know, hopefully that helps if you're kind of on the fence between the 2. If you have any questions, comments, leave them below, and thanks a lot for watching. Take care.